This is Chad for Drawn and Cornered. I believe this is episode 7, and today we're going to be talking about the hypocrisy paradox. It's a little trick that I've kind of come across that I think can help you in your arguments, help you kind of understand a little bit about your own ideals and opinions, and also might be able to trip up an opponent, but ultimately really more so to make sure that you're consistent in the way that you're thinking. I'm going to use a political example, not that this is about politics per se, but you've been hearing hypocrisy thrown around a lot recently, and it's kind of a double-edged sword, and I'm going to tell you how. So for starters, let's say, for instance, when Obama was going through and creating a bunch of executive actions. So here's Obama creating his executive actions, right? And you hated it. Thought it was the worst thing in the world, terrible thing to do, right? And you had an opponent that thought it's okay. He's got a pen and a phone. He can make things happen. This is what happens when you have a obstructionist Congress. So it's got to happen this way. That sets up your dynamic right there. Then what happens, and this routinely happens, is that situation is reversed. So you have Donald Trump coming in. Now Donald Trump also is creating executive actions. Now all of a sudden these are the executive actions that you really like. You're for them. So you're okay with this. You set yourself up to say, yeah, I think this is fantastic. I love it. It's exactly the way that the presidency ought to be. Your opponent now thinks this is a negative. And what he's going to do is he's going to call you a hypocrite. You thought it was in a negative when Obama did it. That makes you a hypocrite because now it's okay. All of a sudden now because Donald Trump's in, it's okay. Well, the turnabout is that apparently your opponent is also a hypocrite because he was your opponent here in this first situation, and then when it reverses, he's also an opponent. That's a way that you can kind of see in an argument. Anytime that somebody is willing to throw hypocrisy your way, think back to what their previous position was as well. More often than not, if somebody's labeling you as a hypocrite, they've also flipped their opinions on it. That's a way to use it in an argument. Not the way that's really most helpful, because it just ends up being a name-calling thing. You're a hypocrite. No, you're a hypocrite, back and forth. It's kind of worthless. However, what is really helpful is that recognizing that when you see hypocrisy in others, often it can shine a light on your own. As in this scenario, for instance. If you were against it here and you labeled these people as terrible and awful, when you get over here, you can't flip your position or call them a hypocrite for flipping their position without recognizing that it's also affecting your own position. So you're seeing that change happen a lot these days. Things that like, well, you did it when it was your guy, and now you have a problem with it, or vice versa, and it's happening. It's running rampant, and hypocrite is being thrown around like water. But the only way to avoid it is to maintain consistent positions, so that if you hated it here, no matter who runs into office on that next one, you've got to hate it here as well. And if you can't do that, then you need to reevaluate your own positions rather than fighting somebody else or calling somebody else a hypocrite. Figure out how to maintain consistency in your own opinions, and that alone is going to put you miles ahead of most people out there.